Will HECO customers with new PV solar systems make HECO their customer? That depends on what happens with the latest HECO request to change the fee schedule and whether the exchange between HECO and homeowner is construed to be a sales transaction. Critics are suggesting the proposed structure carries with it some hidden tax possibilities and question whether the proposal is a cloaked endeavor to hinder the growth of solar in Hawaii. We're asking HECO Senior Vice President of Customer Service, Jim Alberts, who joins us now. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Beth Ann. It's great to be here.
Nice to have you here. The fee structure, which now is for those people who have PV at a market rate, but that would change to 18 cents for those on Oahu, and for the Big Island, a little better than 23 cents, and I'm sorry, a little bit better than 22 cents, and for Maui it would be a little bit better than 23 cents. And that's a different rate from market value, and certainly different from the rate that you say it costs you to produce energy for a kilowatt hour. But regardless of whatever the costs are, if the fee structure changes, does it in fact become, as critics are suggesting, a sales transaction?
No, it does not. In fact, it's a myth that I think is being purported that this would be a taxable event. If you step back and look at the current net energy metering program today, it's a banking system that allows a homeowner or a system owner to be able to bank those credits and use them up at a later time. The program that we've proposed offers the same options. So the only thing that's different is the price for exports. In fact, even for the energy you offset in your home is still in effect at the retail rate. So the only thing that's really different here is the rate that we're proposing to export. And we think the reason that needs to change is from a fairness perspective, because the people who don't have PV are absorbing a cost shift in 2014 of $53 million and continues to grow.
Do they understand that? Do those people who do not have PV understand that they also help to pay for those people who do?
I don't think they do. We're trying to get the message out so people understand this from a fairness perspective. And that's really all we want. We want this to be fair. We want this to be an option for all customers and to make sure that it's sustainable over time.
When you say you'd like it to be an option for all customers, you're talking about PV as being an option?
Yeah, we really like energy options to be available for everybody. So an example might be if you live in a condo today, we're working on a program for community solar. So if you don't have a roof or you don't have access to put PV on your own home for whatever reason you may not want to, you could get into a community solar program and still have solar be an offset on your bill.
As you're calling it an offset, why do you think that critics are looking at this with possible tax implications?
I don't know, because it's pretty clear to us when we look at this and the way we've designed it that it's exactly like the old program. It's designed as an energy credit, an energy banking system, just like net energy metering. So it's confusing for us, and we'll look forward to more discussion on that.
There's also some conversation that, in fact, by doing this, it's going to slow solar growth as opposed to enhance it, which you say is part of your reasoning for wanting to do it.
Right.
What do you make of that?
I don't think this will slow down the adoption of solar at all. In fact, solar costs, implementation costs, keep coming down over time, and people really want to implement solar, and we support that. We believe in rooftop solar as a program option for customers. So if you look at the record, we already have 20 times the national average of solar integration here in Hawaii than anywhere else in the nation. So we've clearly not stood in the way. We've helped facilitate that and make it possible.
Albeit with some stumbling along the way if we look over the last couple of years.
Sure. I mean, we're learning as we go. We're breaking new ground here in terms of how we get this to a level beyond anybody's else's imagination.
But especially because the grid wasn't capable of being able to handle all of the rush to solar, and you saw the moratorium that happened about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and people feeling very frustrated that they couldn't do something that they were being told was a very good thing.
Right. Now, I think that's fair, but from our perspective, we have an obligation to make sure we have reliable service for the entire island. And it's important to note that we do live on an island, so if something were to happen and the grid were to go down, it affects everyone, and that's bad for our economy. If you're in the mainland and something bad happens, you can go in the power markets and buy power from one of your neighboring utilities to help back you up. But here, resiliency is a big issue for an island-based system.
So what do you think we have to have? Obviously, solar can't be the panacea, although it may be a good thing, and we have talked about for a very, very long time, at least 15, 20 years, that we need to have a portfolio. But what does that portfolio look like now that you think maybe it didn't look like even 5 years ago?
Well, solar is certainly the fastest growing, but we also have quite a bit of wind on our grid systems. And if you look at Hawaii Island in particular, we have geothermal as a baseload generating capacity. And you look at other storage options, so even thermal storage for water heaters. We look at small hydro systems. So there's no silver bullet here. And the more diversified we are, the more resilient we are. So we can't invest too much in any one particular source.
Particularly with the technology for battery and battery storage being so new and not really available for residential customers.
It is new and it's still fairly expensive. I do think that batteries will play a big role in the future from a storage component. So we're working on that today. We are investigating programs and options. And if you look at our proposal that we recently filed, battery storage is a big part of that for a homeowner who may want to choose that option.
But that's not really an option that they can choose with a lot of certainty right now, despite what we've heard about big commercial users who are able to do that.
Sure. I think the way to look at this is like any technology change. If you look at the technology curve, you're going to have early adopters and you're going to have people that will wait to make sure that technology is perfected. Just like PV, if you think back 10 years ago, PV was in the same boat. So for us, we're going to work with those early adopters. We're going to make sure we help identify the best possible path forward.
A lot of people are still waiting for some of that to come down in price. What happens over time, or what would you say as you look at the industry and your proposal to say that there should be some options over time for people? I mean, what happens for a path to upgrade?
Right. I think customers will want choice over time. So if you look at an investment of a PV system that might last for 20 years, and the rate of technology change is evolving much quicker than that. So if prices come down or new programs come in, we want to make sure customers have those options along the way and not be locked in.
I wish we had more time to talk. Thank you for joining us this morning.
All right. Thank you.
And you're just listening to Jim Alberts, the Senior Vice President of Customer Service for Hawaiian Electric. The HECO proposal for an altered fee structure for new PV solar customers is with the PUC.